Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tapping with Tristan. I'm excited about this segment. We got another Fit Lab 15 segment. This is a monstrous athlete, big time athlete right here. I don't want to shortchange it, and I don't want to shortchange you. I want to dive right into this. We have Miss Logan Eggleston. Talk to him, Logan.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to have this conversation today. You helped me this summer before our season just for a little bit, but I think it was so beneficial and like honestly helped us, get ready for the season, a really successful season. So yeah, I'm super excited. Thanks for having me today.
You're very welcome, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. So, what sport are we playing? Give us a little background. Where did we grow up, and then what sport are we playing?
Yeah. So I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm a volleyball player. I play at the University of Texas. I'm a junior, about to go into my senior year. I'm an outside hitter. I've been playing volleyball. I started playing when I was, I think, around 10 years old, and I started playing more competitively. I started club when I was 13. So I've been playing at a pretty high level since 13. So that's about like 7 years. And yeah, I love it. I've had a really great season. Had a really great time at Texas. Love the sport of volleyball. Love being an athlete. I think there's so many amazing things that go with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's me.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's so many branches on this tree that we can dive into. When did you start seeing that volleyball is going to be a really good option and fit for you?
Yeah, so I grew up playing a lot of sports.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of my first sport. I mean, I started playing like I was a gymnast when I was little. I played soccer, I played softball, I played basketball. I kind of did everything, and I was kind of late to starting volleyball. I played like a little super low key rec team when I was like 10 years old. Just as on the side, just to kind of fill up that extra like month of free time I had during the year. And then I ended up kind of enjoying it, kind of like being like, oh, this is something that's new and fun. But also a really big basketball player. But then in middle school, I kind of narrowed it down and I just played basketball and volleyball because I kind of wanted to get more serious into both of them.
Yep.
And then after my 7th grade year, some girls on my team convinced me to start playing club volleyball. So I was playing club volleyball and travel basketball at the same time, which was an experience because, tournaments were like every weekend. So it was like every weekend I was switching between either basketball or volleyball. But then after my 14th year, my volleyball coach sat me down and was like, hey, like, if you keep up with volleyball, like you have really great potential, and I think you could really go somewhere with that. And I was in love with the sport. I loved my teammates that I was getting to play with, so I was like, okay, I think this is time. And so after my 8th grade year, I stopped playing basketball and started focusing on volleyball. And I'm glad I made that decision because I think it really worked out for me. I loved volleyball kind of in middle school, and I was kind of excited to start and do my own thing because my dad was a basketball coach. He was a big basketball guy. So I was like, let me start this volleyball thing up for our family. So so I would say freshman year is kind of when I realized that volleyball was my path and my way to go. And that's when I started becoming super serious about it.
So, about freshman year, you're like, hold on, I can do something with this.
Yeah. Like I could see myself doing this for a while.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, especially at that age, you can start seeing that this might be a part of me for a while and can open up some doors for me. Now, take me through a little bit of that high school, with the recruitment and everything like that. You're a big time player. You know what I mean? Not just in your state, state player of the year and then, but nationally. So you have you have colleges reaching out to you. Is it overwhelming? How does that
I
work?
Honestly, it was because, colleges started reaching out to me like right before my freshman year. And so like
Hmm.
it was weird being a freshman in high school and having to decide where I was going to spend, my college years, which was still 4 years away. And especially since I was like the only one going through it at that time, like girls on my team were also like getting recruited at the same time. But I mean, like within my high school friend group, like none of them really played sports. So they were like, college was nowhere in their
Right.
mind, So I was like visiting schools and they were like, not even thinking about where they're going to college. So it was definitely overwhelming. But my parents did a really good job of like kind of leaving the floor open to me, and like they were just like, we're going to try to visit as many schools, get on as many campuses, meet as many coaches as possible to kind of help me get an understanding of what I wanted in a school. And so we were like, my whole freshman and sophomore year, we were just like driving places on weekends, just to, like seeing here, I was calling coaches all the time just to like kind of make those connections and stuff. And so it was weird doing that at such a young age, but it was beneficial because I got to meet so many coaches and like create relationships that like I still play coaches today that I was getting recruited by, and it's like they're still so nice, and it's like, hey, like how are you doing? It's awesome. And then I met so many girls through the process too who are like playing all over the country now, and it's just like cool to see like where they've gone. But yeah, it was stressful. It was a weird experience, but like I'm really glad I got to go through it and got to like meet so many people.
Absolutely. And then you have the student aspect of it as well. You're trying to balance that. Like, I think that's something that's very unique for student athletes, especially high profile athletes in their respective sport, is balancing that, the expectations in their books. How did you do it? Was
Yeah, it
you a
was.
good student or, bad
Oh,
student?
I had to be a good student. Both of my parents are teachers. My mom's actually was a
You
teacher at
got
my
it.
high school.
Oh, man.
So she knew all my teachers. She knew how my grades were looking. So I knew, I had to keep it up, in the classroom too. So my biggest thing was just like planning and time management and like kind of having an agenda written out all the time, because I needed to know like when I was going to be traveling for tournaments, when I had practice, when I had big assignments due, so I could kind of like write in what times I was going to get things done and like when my free time was. So that was kind of the biggest thing that helped me, was just making sure I knew what my schedule looked like, both in volleyball and in school. So I knew when I had to like maybe take time to really sit down and get my schoolwork done. So that was the biggest thing that helped me. And it's helped me in college too, because in college the schedule is even more crazy and
Yeah,
you're
for
busy all
sure.
the time. It's wild. So just like learning how to like manage my time and like really write things down and get like a list and a schedule written out so I can see it kind of like tangibly in front of me really is what's helped me with my academics.
Absolutely. You're hitting the nail on the head. Why Texas? You had plenty of choices. Why the Longhorns?
There's too many reasons. It was weird. It was weird to me because Texas was actually like one of the last schools I visited. It's because it's kind of far from home. I'm from Nashville. Texas is like, it's probably like a 13-hour drive, I think.
Right.
So I was like, do I want to go far from home? I don't know. And so it was one of the last schools I visited. And actually, one of my current teammates, Skylar Fields, told me, she was like, you need to visit. Trust me, you're going to love it. And I was like, I don't
Gotta
know.
go. Gotta go see it.
I was like, I don't know.
Gotta
And so I was
see
like,
it.
okay, fine, I'll do it. And so I ended up visiting like one of my last visits, and I got on campus, and like everyone told me that you'll get a feeling when you step on your campus that you're going to be on. And like right when I got there, right when I met the coaches, right when I saw the campus, I was just like, yep, this is where I need to be. This is where I'm going to fit in perfectly. And I think it's just the way my coaching staff talked to me, like as I'm like just an adult, honestly. Like they just like really had high respect for me and just like treated me like, their best friend. Like I'd known them forever. And like seeing that and just relating with them so easily, then meeting all the people I'd be potentially playing with, seeing the campus, seeing like the rest of the support staff around, knowing that the school was so highly regarded academically, like that was a super important thing. I
Yeah.
come from a family of teachers, so I was like, I need school's important. I need to get a nice degree. So that was
Absolutely.
really, yeah, that was a really big part of it. Seeing the facilities, seeing the gear, like all the things they got. I was
All
like,
that.
how could I say no?
Top five program perennially.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, like a perennial top five program. So you got all of these things. Now, I'm going to ask you this: what do you think some of the qualities are in going from level to level? You know what I mean? Everybody's different levels, of course, but what are some of the things that you see at the big time levels, whether it be high school or college, even pro?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing from high school to college was that you really have to be committed and love the sport, because you're doing something to get better every single day, like pretty much all the time. And so you have to be 100% committed to the process and to getting better and to putting in all the work. So I think that was the biggest thing I saw, is like just the girls that I was surrounded with all had that mindset. And I think in high school, it's fun. Like it's fun to like play games, go to club tournaments, but it's not as serious because there's not much like on the line. It's just like you're having fun with your teammates, like, and that's not a bad thing at all. Like it was such a great experience. But I think that level, that it really just went up, and like kind of the flip switched in my mind. I realized that like you really have to be serious about this, and you have to want to get better, because it's not just kind of lollygagging and just having fun every day. It's like
See
you're really
that?
competing.
Do you see that on like an individual level, like pretty much all of your teammates? You're at we're going to talk a little about this, but you're at a top program. So you see the individuals, and even some of the competition, the individuals
For
have that
sure.
mind frame. And then when they come together as a team, you see the force. Is that fair to say?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Cause like at this point, girls are they have these really high goals. They want to win that national championship. There's that huge thing at the line that everyone wants. Like everyone goes to college to get that national championships. They all have that mindset. And then also a lot of girls on my team, especially, and a lot of other top programs, like they want to continue playing after college. So it's not just about that national championship. It's like, I want to do this and get better for the long run. And so it's like everyone has this tunnel vision of like their goals, and they're all committed to getting there. And so it's really good to be surrounded by that every single day, because it pushes me to be better. And it's cool to see girls on my team who like had that mindset, who are like reaching their goals right now and playing professionally and playing in the USA gym. But I definitely see that as the main factor that is difference between high school to college players, is just that mindset, that intensity, that effort, is just all trying to make them so much better every single day.
I think that's very valid. What about this COVID year? You're a student athlete in the midst of this COVID year, this pandemic. Give us a little bit of talking to us about that and leading up into this awesome season that we had.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm just like so grateful that we were able to have a season, because in the summer and leading up to like our first game, we had no clue what was going to happen. It was like there was still like a week or two before our first game. Our conference was like planning on canceling the whole season. So it was like when we heard that we actually got to play, it was just like this big relief, and like this big like finally like we're back at it. We're back with our team. Like something somewhat normal is happening. But it was a tough year just because of how long it was. Like we started training in August, and then we didn't finish until the end of April. So it was a long season. So like, again, we had to like have that mindset of just like every day we have to get better, because we're going to be in this for the long run if we want to make it. So that was tough, but we had to sacrifice so much. And that was another part of it that was so cool, is to see girls on our team kind of sacrifice the social life aspect. Obviously like we want to have fun and like want to see people, but we had to sacrifice that because we couldn't risk getting COVID.
For sure.
And like, yeah, we couldn't risk, like being in restaurants and like even like sometimes seeing our families, because we didn't know like where they had been. And so just the whole sacrifice thing was a big part of this year, and seeing how so many teams handled it and did such a great job just like shows how many amazing athletes are in our country volleyball, who just like
amazing.
Yeah, they care so much, about their sport, about their teammates, and about, the end goal in mind, instead of just, the little fun things that they could be doing. They wanted to be in it for the long run. And so I think that was the coolest thing to see this season, is just like people sacrificing things to get, what they wanted. And yeah, it ended up working out for us.
How did we navigate through this? Now we know you got the talent, but you had an amazing year. You played a year in the conference, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How did you lock in individually, and then we got a Final Four run going to the national championship? Talk to us about that experience.
I think the biggest thing, so over quarantine, I got to talk to my coach a lot, and I kind of knew that like I was going to be the leader on the team. I was like one of the oldest girls with the most experience who was going to be like coming back to this team. So I had a lot of time to kind of like sit there and think about that, and think about like how I needed to, lead by example, show like the rest of my teammates kind of the ropes, and how we get there, and how we get to the like high competition games. Like personally, I'd never been to a Final Four. Like my freshman year we went to Elite 8, my sophomore year it was Sweet 16. So like none of us on the team have had experience like at that level. So it was like, how do we get there? But I think I had a lot of talks with my coach just about leadership, and then it was just kind of getting in the gym and just like going and working. And I think my energy and like my level of play and like my work ethic, like I hate talking about myself, but I feel like that kind of helps.
No, we're just being real. We're just being real. This is because this is you. But then I've been watching. The next person is feeling the same way. So they would say the same things about each other. That's what makes it very, very special. Mm-hmm. And this is how you have these types of runs.
Yeah.
So you're giving some of the young up and coming athletes some free game into an experience that some may never ever experience.
It's crazy.
So I appreciate you getting uncomfortable by this, because I know you're super humble, and it's a little bit uncomfortable talking about yourself. But we're talking about some of the qualities that get you to the point. And we're also going to celebrate it, because you had an amazing year. But we fell short. How did that feel? We fell short.
Yeah.
It's a really big time team. They end up winning it all. What was that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think first I'm just gonna talk about the whole tournament, I guess. Like we had a really tough run, like getting to the national championship. We literally had to play like three of the best teams in the Big Ten. And so it was just like one game at a time. Like we just had to dial in on the first game. We played Wright State the first game, who like historically isn't like super high level team, but like you never know. So we had to prepare for them and not think about the next game ahead of us, even though like 2 days later we had Penn State, who's a great team.
Oh, wow.
And so it was crazy. And it was, again, like that mindset of like, we're supposed to be here. We're a great team. We deserve the run that we have. Like we're going to make it happen. And so like every single game, we just went into it with that mindset. We went into it as, like we're Texas. We trust our training. We trust the work that we put in and all of the like hard practices, the long hours. Like we trust what we've done. And so we're going to go out and perform and do it. And then we just kept doing it. And it sucks that we lost. And it sucks like, because we can't even be mad at the national championship game. Like obviously we lost, but like I've rewatched the game like 20 times, like you understand. And it's like it sucks because like Kentucky just played outstanding, like out of their
outstanding. Y'all guys played well. Y'all played well, and they played honestly, even better. Somebody had to lose that game.
Exactly. Like we just made like a few extra errors that they didn't make, and it's like
capitalize.
Yeah, in a normal game, like that still would have won us the game. It's just they played such an amazing game. Like their setters was throwing the ball everywhere.
Lights out, A+.
Yeah, their outsides were just like finding ways to score. And so I think they played amazing. And like obviously I've watched the game lots of times. I've seen what they've done, and now I know how to score.
Ready for part two. This is cool as an athlete to go back into the season so you can go up fueled up for the next run. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. 100%. It's like it was that taste was right in there in my mouth. And so it's like I need it back. And I think a lot of girls on my team felt the same way. It's like right after that game, we were like, we don't want to take our shoes off. Like we want to rematch right now.
I want to run it back right now.
Yeah, I was like, let's just do it again. And let's see what happens. Because it was just, it was such a good environment in there. It was just such a fun, high level game. And like, yeah, it was so sad. And like in the moment I was, there were tears, because it was just like, we thought we like let people down. Like we didn't do what we should have done. But then looking back on the season, there's so much to be proud of. And so absolutely. It's just now it's like just replicating that and remembering how that felt throughout the whole season, not just that last game, but just remembering how it felt to go through such a long, hard season and like feeling that like championship feeling at the end, and how we want to get that like final over, like right over the ledge.
Let's go ahead and have the confetti falling while we holding the trophy. That's the next thing. But that's what makes sports very unique, these types of things. And it also builds a lot of character for on the court as well as off the court. So we can talk about this, for hours and hours and hours. I just want to say thank you for taking out your time to talk to me for a little while. It's awesome to be in the presence of a special athlete and a special young lady. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, congratulations on the individual awards as well as the team awards. And I have no doubt that you're gonna go at it full throttle and have great things happen to this up and coming year.
For sure. Yeah, I'm excited to get started. Now, yeah, thank you so much for having me. I think it's such a great platform, and it's so cool just to be able to talk to you, and then like so many BPA people be able to hear kind of like how to get to where I am. Because I know there's a lot of girls out there who want to play at Texas and want to play at that high level. So it's
awesome. You're gonna inspire a lot just by watching this, a lot more than you know. So thank you once again for taking your time, and until next time, much love.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Hook 'em, right?
Yeah.